Well, welcome listeners to Rain Shadow Living, your guide to Port Townsend, Sequim, and the Olympic Peninsula. I'm Trish Cole, your co-host.
And I'm Ginny Erickson. And today we have two exciting guests. Joining us today is Denise Winters, the Executive Artistic Director of the Key City Public Theater. And joining her is Amanda Stewart Zamora, and she is chairman of the board of directors. And Amanda's also an actress and a director and a fellow real estate agent. Anyway, welcome both Denise and Amanda.
Hi. Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and today we're stepping into the spotlight with two incredible women shaping the art scene here in Port Townsend. Amanda and Denise are with Key City Public Theater, from live performances that stir the soul to community programs that inspire creativity. KCPT is truly the heart of the local arts. We'll talk about the stories they tell, the people behind them, and what's coming next on stage.
Yes. So maybe we can start out with just tell us a little bit about Key City Public Theater. What is it? What should people know about it?
Well, Key City Public Theater is a small professional theater deeply rooted in the community. We have been here, we're in our 67th season, and it began as a community group getting together, putting on plays, and has evolved over the years into one of the major arts employers in Jefferson County. We're very proud to have real jobs in the arts and serving over 18,000 patrons each year with year-round programming. Of course, our main stage season is sort of the meat and potatoes of the theater. We put on a variety of contemporary plays, musicals, classics, new works. Mm-hmm. And then we have what we call our second stage, even though we really only have one stage. Our second stage series involves anything from outdoor theater. We've periodically done dinner theater experiences. We have a touring program, and then and a music series, speaking of music. And in addition to all of that, we have a variety of community engagement activities that we participate in, including hosting certain festivals and other arts activities that happen here in Port Townsend. The most significant of those being the Port Townsend Film Festival, for which we're a venue. Mm-hmm. And also, we have a variety of education programs that go on throughout the year. Our youth education has really taken off in the last 5 years with leadership from our artistic associate, Brendan Chambers, who has a master's in theater education and manages all of those programs that happen after school, in school, summer camps for youth. And then we've added an adult education component as well. So we're very busy. We're very
Sounds like it.
It's absolutely amazing. How many shows do you do a year, and how many nights on average does a show run? I mean, this is like a Broadway production. At least it feels like that from the outside looking in.
Well,
we appreciate that.
We really appreciate that comment.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, this is a fully professional theater. And so we do four main stage productions each year, and usually a fifth, sometimes a sixth limited engagement production. Mm-hmm. Often during the holidays, we'll do a big holiday show and then something extra. So our shows run an average of 4 weeks. Usually our musical will run 4 to 5. Our holiday show runs 4 to 5 weeks. And some of our other shows will run 3 weeks. So it varies. We try to be pretty communicative to our audience about how long you have to see the show. And then we have the opportunity to bring in special guests and limited engagement productions. For example, this year, Ebenezer Scrooge's Big Christmas Show is what's running for 5 weeks in December.
I already bought my tickets.
Oh, fantastic. Starting the day
I'm
after
excited.
Yeah. But in addition to that, we have Alan Fitzpatrick's Christmas Carol. Alan Fitzpatrick is a 19-time Broadway actor who is based in Seattle. And we commissioned him 5 years ago now to craft a one-man Christmas Carol. So he tells the whole story as a solo artist, embodying all the different characters. And we bring him nearly every year for that tradition. So he'll be here for one day only this year.
And our season kind of, we really focus on kind of starting in the early fall and then running all the way through to like mid-spring, mid to late spring. That's kind of like what our season is. But then in the summertime, we have, camps, and we've got the kids coming in. We've got, we'll do some special series in there. We'll do some outdoor theater engagements like she was talking about. But we really, last night and tonight is our opening of our season, our 2025-2026 season. And we are doing Misery, Stephen King's based on the novel, but who wrote the stage play? Or how do you?
Oh,
William Goldman.
William Goldman did the adaptation of the book for the film, and then went on to adapt it again for the stage play. So,
we're getting that going, but that's kind of our bulk of our season is from that kind of time frame. And the only nights that we're really like dark or when it's closed is when we're building the next show and we're in rehearsal, getting ready to then open up. So every month or so.
Right. There's almost always something going on each month.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions for you. It's amazing. The theater's been in production for 67 years plus. How do you keep it relevant? How has it changed through the years? And the other question I have is, do you hire local artists for set design, or do you have your own in-house? I'm an artist, so I always love asking questions about the art piece of it. Yeah.
Oh, I love that you asked that question. We hire all kinds of local artists and artisans to make these plays. I like to say to our local visual artists, it's like a giant palette. So we've had a number of fairly well-known artists in Port Townsend that have designed sets for us. Margie McDonald,
Jesse
Joshua Watson,
Terry Tennyson.
I love that these are just rolling off the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
Don Tiller. So over the years, many artists have been brought in. We've had wearable artists that have worked on intricate costumes, and we hire a lot of local musicians who perform with us for musicals, obviously, when we need a band, but also there have been a number of times where there'll be an instrumentalist that's part of a non-musical, a play with music, that sort of thing. We also have playwrights that are based here, and we commission new works that are written by local writers, in addition to doing things like Misery, that is, a nationally known thing. But then we have a variety of professional actors who live and work here in Jefferson County. Then we also incorporate regional artists, many people from Seattle that are professional actors, directors, and designers have worked here. And it's a blend. We're a regional theater. And so we do hire regional talent.
I want to speak to a little bit of the history, though, because I grew up here and born and raised in Port Townsend. And when I was in high school, it was the Key City Players. So so that was something that I was involved in before I went off to New York and went to school and studied and all of that. But, I feel like for me, I've just watched the trajectory, kind of like a crescendo, just kind of continue to grow and build and grow and build. And even when I met Denise back in 2008, and I was coming back to town and I hadn't done theater in a really long time, I was part of an ensemble that was primarily locals and volunteer. And at that point, like when Denise was coming on, there was really no paid roles or positions. And I'd say that, in the last 18 years, we've just been kind of growing that. And this is something that I have a lot of pride in, is that we're growing that so that we are now to the place where everyone who works here, from the person designing the lights, to the person directing the plays, to the person being on the stage, to the person working in the box office, to the person behind, we've got this new beautiful bar, and we should talk about the renovation that we did over the pandemic years. These are people, so we're an employer in the arts in our community. And I have a great pride in that. It's part of what my belonging to this and supporting this organization. But it's been part of this growth. That's definitely not what it was when I was growing up here, not what it was 20 years ago, but we get to sit here in this place. And a lot of that has to do with Denise and the community that supported us, and the people that are, supporting theater and the arts in our community. So
it's exciting that we've been able to attract artists from around the country to come and work here. We have an apprentice program that has really been a dynamic way to infuse our local art scene with ideas and perspectives that enhance the work that we're doing. And then a number of those apprentices who spend a year with us have transitioned into full-time jobs here at the theater, or went off, worked at another theater, and came back and now have a full-time job here. So there's lots of entry points for the community, whether it's taking classes, whether it's interning or apprenticing. We've had a number of folks that are here in our community that are career transitioning, and they just needed job experience, and came in, did an apprenticeship in, say, communications or development with grant writing, and then went on and had whole careers that had nothing to do with theater, but were successful
in the theater to help them
in getting a publicity job somewhere else. Or
that's great. It's really a little nurturing world then, isn't it? I mean, supportive and nurturing.
Some of my favorite part is, like, growing up in Port Townsend, and it's a small town, right? I mean, it is but we those of us who live here like a little bit of that, right? So we're looking for that. But I think the talent that comes in is professional. And so, but also for the young people who get the opportunity to be an apprentice or be in a show, that are, local kids, young people, then they get this professional experience, and then you can take that to college, you can take that to New York City, you can take that to LA, you can take it out. And I think like that role that we get to play in those young people's lives is really quite awesome.
Yeah, we've had a number of students who, we saw, be here on stage as an 8-year-old, take our classes, end up in a main stage show where there was a role for a young person, and have gone on and have real careers as professional stage managers at large opera companies. Yeah. We have a young man who went on to do stunt work in Hollywood and in New York. So, if we inspire an artist to go on to have a career, I feel like we've done a good deed for our young people here in the community. Something that has happened in the last couple of years is we've been included in a new regional awards that come up each year based on your season. And so we're competing as a professional theater against places like the Fifth Avenue and Seattle Rep and Village Theater,
Mhm.
all these, major theater companies in Seattle. And last year for our 2023-24 season, we won the best theater experience for the year, beating out those other theaters. And it just sort of emphasizes for our community that you're getting a big city theater experience while you get to live in this really cool smaller community and not have long commutes and not have to compete,
Right.
stand in line to get a ticket in that same way that you do in the city. So we're excited that we're getting that level of recognition in our region. And I think our audiences can feel the difference. They don't have to do a 2.5 hour commute to see a good story told on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
nice.
speaking of the commutes, this podcast is for people who want to know all about rain shadow living. And so a lot of our viewers are from out of the area, but they might be from Seattle and they might do the 2.5 hour commute.
Yes.
So what would you say to those people who are listening? Is it worth the trip to come here and catch a show, maybe catch the Christmas show? And do they have to plan ahead to buy the tickets? Are you going to be sold out? What would be the best advice to someone from Seattle who's thinking to come over and take in the Christmas show?
Well, 40% of our audience is from outside of Jefferson County. So lots of people make the journey. And what I love about it is people just need an excuse to come to Port Townsend. They want to come, and we like to provide that excuse. We do the bulk of our programming in the shoulder season, so not the busy summertime when we have lots of festivals and other reasons to come to Port Townsend. So we provide those reasons to come in October for a spooky weekend and, do a haunted buildings tour and see Misery, right? Or come for the holidays and do your shopping, spend the night and see a fun family holiday show. If you're going to bring your whole family, do get those tickets in advance. We're an intimate venue. We do sell out a lot, and we do encourage you to get tickets in advance. But we also say check at the door because you just never know, right? So we are definitely one of those reasons to come. We have subscribers from all over Washington State because they want to plan out their trips of when throughout the year they're going to come to Port Townsend for the weekend, see a show, go out to a live music event, check out the museums. There are so many things to do in Port Townsend. You just need that extra reason to come. And we like to think that a production, 4 productions throughout the year give you a reason to come in the fall, in the winter, in the spring. So yes, definitely make it part of your trip plan.
I've had many conversations in the lobby where, as like the board chair, I'm like, what brings you here? And they're like, well, one, we love the show and it gave us an excuse to come to Port Townsend for the weekend, And so like because you come and you get to build all of that. We're staying at the Bishop, and we're, seeing the show tonight and we're going to go to breakfast at, Point Hudson, so that's the nice thing about Port Townsend. We have all of these opportunities to eat out, to shop, to see a play. And that's what we, caliber of what we want to do or what we are doing is in a level that like people are going to come and feel like, oh, this was just the cherry on top of my ability to come and stay in Port Townsend for the weekend.
Well, and I understand there's a haunted Airbnb or bed and breakfast in Port Townsend as well. So if you really wanted to make it a spooky weekend,
for sure,
we have
yes, right. And Port Townsend Main Street also hosts one weekend of haunted histories and mysteries, and there are all kinds of spooky activities that happen. If you have children, we have a great Halloween parade and downtown trick or treat. We have so many holiday programs throughout November and December, and our shows tie in with those calendars, the traditional tree lighting and Santa visits and
Magic of
Christmas and the special holiday sales and all of the beautiful holiday lighting that we put up downtown now.
Tree lighting.
Yeah, there it's just a plethora. Also, we are the performing arts center for the downtown creative district. So Port Townsend has the state designation as an official creative district. Ours expands from downtown to uptown and includes Fort Worden.
Mhm.
And so if you go to the city's website, you can look up what's going on in the creative district and make a whole arts plan for any weekend that you're here. There's monthly gallery walk. We have so many galleries downtown to visit. And the great thing about Port Townsend is you can do all of those things and also incorporate your outdoor activities too. So you can go for a beach walk just a few feet from the theater after dinner,
Right?
then come back and see a show.
And you can visit
Gotta grab a
Sequim,
glass of
too.
wine and head
Right.
Yeah.
The theater itself is quite amazing and impressive. And I know you mentioned you wanted to talk about the reno. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and maybe tell the viewers what the theater going experience is like?
Sure. So we had an opportunity to make lemonade out of lemons during the pandemic. Theaters, of course, across America were shut down. And I was looking for opportunities, ways to keep our staff employed, and ways to make improvements for our audience when they returned. Our theater was overdue for renovation. And before the pandemic, we had already planned that we were going to be replacing our seats and putting in a new HVAC system. And so when I realized that we were going to be shut down for much longer than anyone would have hoped for, we expanded that project and we reached out to funders throughout the region and raised over $600,000 to renovate the building. We focused primarily on the audience experience at first, but then we were able to push the renovation into the backstage areas as well and make improvements for artists. So our HVAC system is it has all of the things that people were saying we should have in HVAC systems during the pandemic. 6 full air exchanges throughout our building every hour, and filtered air. And so it creates a much safer experience for our audiences. We also did a lot of ADA improvements to the building. So smooth transitions for wheelchair access. We now do American Sign Language interpreted performances and audio described performances for our patrons. We expanded our bar and our bar offerings. We featured artwork by local artists in our lobby that's really, really stunning work. And
I think that the whole experience of like you walk in and you get to see this box office, like you have this foyer into this box office with this beautiful chandelier, and then you walk into the lobby and you get this, art wall by Margie up there, and you've got this beautiful bar from Eden Saw,
right.
the wood, and you feel. I mean, so much of the theater is feeling like you're going into this experience.
Mhm.
And we always had a lobby, and we always had a little box office, and all we had that. This just allowed us to kind of just expand that, and then also just, I think, give it a sense of glamour.
Right.
That's my favorite part.
I mean, the great
Glamour's
thing
always good. Glamour's
Right.
always good.
the great thing about Port Townsend is it's super cash, right? Like you don't
Right.
have to dress up to go out. But if you want to dress up, the theater gives you an
Okay.
excuse because you're in this glamorous space. So you're like, oh, maybe I do want to wear that fancy dress that I want to pull out for the
Right.
opening night gala that I'm going to. So
It
yeah,
does feel like a night out. It's really fun.
We added seats to the theater. I don't know if
Right.
you mentioned that, but we were able to expand the theater experience a little bit more, so we could, be able to provide more seating, so that more people can see the show. So it was for me, as someone who saw it before and worked in it before. I've now had the opportunity to work in it since, and it's just great.
we've added a lot of LED lighting, which actually
Yep.
does increase the comfort of the audience because the lighting doesn't heat up the room and it doesn't it doesn't make a lot of noise like
Yeah.
older instruments do. We have a beautiful state-of-the-art sound system. The whole thing, we were able to kind of strip it down to the bare bones. We reconfigured the spaces
Yep.
to just make it more comfortable for the patrons, and there are more exits and entrances in and out of the building. So, it just has a much more luxurious feel, but also safe and sanitary improvements that the combination
and accessibility.
It just makes it a much better experience for everybody.
It's speaking of accessibility. When I went to the Christmas show last year, I have hearing aids, and it was funny because I was having trouble hearing the lyrics, and they had told me at the hearing aid store I could adjust them for music and I could adjust them for a show. So I made the adjustment and everything was beautiful. And so I can attest to the audience experience. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
Well, you've shared a lot about the theater and everything. Can you share maybe a peek behind the curtain, maybe a funny or heartwarming moment from your rehearsals, or maybe just one of your favorite experiences, maybe one of the best plays or that kind of thing? I see Amanda laughing, so let's go with her first.
That's funny.
Yeah, we could talk about this, I think.
You go.
Well, I was going to say, so I was very involved in the theater from about 2008 to 2013, and then I went away. And when I came back a few years later, I had a daughter, and my life had totally looked different than what it did when I left. And so I was in the theater, but taking care of my daughter, started my career, all the things. And so 2 years ago, Denise invited me to direct a play, and she was in that play.
Right. I was going to be in it.
So the executive artistic director is now your actor.
Oh.
And, we did a little role reversal situation that was going on there. And I think that you can say that I'm wrong, but this is a story I tell myself, is that she just was like, I wouldn't have trusted anyone else to help me get the performance. And she was phenomenal. And it was a really great play, and a local playwright, Doug Gibbons. And it was called What the Dickens. And, but I feel like for me, I got to see this very talented, strong, in charge woman put on the makeup, put on the wig, put on the costume, and
be vulnerable, which is what every actor has to be. So yeah, and that is a true statement. I did say, I trust you to direct this show, because what can happen in that situation, you're everyone's boss. And so it can be intimidating. And to be an actor, you must be able to receive criticism, and you need criticism. You have to be directed. You have to be told that doesn't work, or that does work, or that looks good, or that doesn't. And if you have someone who's afraid to speak truth to power, then you're going to not have a good performance, because if they're not telling you what's wrong with your performance, you can't improve it. So you have to have someone in that seat that you trust will say, sorry, do it again.
Or that was great. Let's do it a little differently this time. What ended up happening, though, was that Denise would be always thinking, would go away from the stage, and she would come back the next day with all of these ideas, and she'd be like, so I'd be in the audience directing, she'd be on the stage acting, and she'd be like, so I was doing, and let me just, and I'd be like, yeah, and then she'd do it, and I'd be like, and and then we could do this, like all this weird shorthand that all the other actors were like, what are they talking about? like, and you understand each other, and we're like, yeah, we do. We got that. We know what we're doing. So it was one of those like shorthand that I think was really helpful. But
it was fun. It was
like said at the same time. So you are very symbiotic.
Yeah. Well, and we've worked together a lot.
She's directed me.
So I've directed Amanda any number of times. Yeah. I've worked with Amanda when she's directing shows, and so we have developed a language, and we do enjoy working together. And I just directed my own adaptation of Shakespeare's Winter's Tale in this past March. And I asked Amanda to assist and direct, because I like having that second eye that speaks that same language. So we were able to trade off things like, you go work with these actors, you know what I want in this scene, I'm going to keep staging this scene, and we could get twice as much work done in the same rehearsal period. So
Well,
yeah,
and
it's fun.
Denise has, before being in Port Townsend, had an incredible career working in some of the biggest theaters with some of the biggest companies.
And the most famous directors.
Yeah. And so, I mean, she knows spectacle. She knows, and her technical abilities are amazing and off the charts. And that's what we were looking to see. Like, she could have this, like, I mean, she can get up there and do a dance thing, and you're like, oh, how, or this thing flies through the air, and then it's like all of these kind of things happen. And then, but I got to go and like, I love language, and not that you don't love language, but like I was able to kind of like get into the nitty gritty of like, what are you saying here? As she was creating this beautiful this picture, and the stories that were going on between the actors. But then I could go in there and just like get to the nitty gritty of it. And theater needs both. That's the great thing, is that there's places for both of that.
That's amazing.
This podcast,
about us.
The podcast is available on demand. And I know you've talked about Misery, you've talked about the Christmas show. Can you tell us a little bit about what's coming up in the spring and why it's so important that people tune in, sign up, buy their tickets?
Shameless publicity happening right now.
Nice.
Well, we usually have at least one newly commissioned new work in every season, and so in March we have I Love You, I Miss You, I'm Glad You're Gone, and it's really going to be great. It's going to be pretty fantastic. And so the solo performer is the only Filipina master magician and hypnotist in the world. And she has performed in Vegas and all over the world. And she's writing a play that tells her own personal story about being diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer and having her family abandon her. And so it's told with humor and mystery and magic. So she incorporates her magic into the storytelling. And that play is going to run for 2 weeks in March. And then in the spring, we're Bark the Musical by David Francis. Key City Public Theater, actually, we did the Washington State premiere production in 2011. It's been our most highly requested production to return to the stage. And I was just sort of waiting for the right moment in time. And so it's coming, and it is an absolute hoot. I mean, this musical is just fun. And so we're putting together a really wonderful ensemble.
It's for dog lovers, and then for people who love dog lovers.
Right. I mean,
it's really a great show.
It's really terrific. It has a beautiful heart to it, fun music, really entertaining, very funny. And every dog pun known to humans is probably in the show. So if you like puns, you're going to love Bark the Musical.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
in the spring.
That's in the spring. Yeah. It runs April. Well, it opens April 30th. So the last day of April, but pretty much the month of May.
Mm-hmm.
So we always like to find out, how can the community get involved, whether it's from supporting you, participating in production. Can you expand on that a little bit? And then what's the best way to reach out to the theater?
Ways to get involved at Key City Public Theater. We have general auditions every year for those who would like to take a stab at performing on the stage. We also participate in the Theater Puget Sound general auditions. So that's how we capture a lot of our regional artists. You can always provide feedback on your experience or ask us about our programs at box office at keycitypublictheater.org, our website, keycitypublictheater.org, or the short version, kcpt.co. You can get all of the information about our shows, about our education programs. We have volunteer opportunities throughout the year in production, in front of house. It's super easy to just come in,
Usher.
sign up to be an usher, get a free seat to watch the show. We always need people to help out with bartending, bar backs. We have a professional bartender, but bar backing. Sponsorships are a great way to get exposure for your business or to just celebrate your family. Sometimes people will get a sponsorship to celebrate a loved one, or to just support the theater because that's something their family really wants to do. And
underwriting.
Yeah, there's underwriting because we have digital screens that are viewed. So if you're just walking by our theater, you're in town, you don't know what's going on. If you just walk by, there's digital signage that scrolls through what the upcoming events are, but you can also be seen on those screens through our underwriting opportunities on our digital screens. And we do have some touring programs, so watch for Key City Public Theater out and about in the state of Washington.
The suffragists?
Yes, we have a Washington Women's History Tour that goes out in the month of March, which is Women's History Month. And it is celebrating the suffrage, those who participated in the suffrage movement to get the right to vote for women. So very excited about that series, which tells the stories of Washington women of a variety of backgrounds and communities. So you can learn a little history and enjoy some theater.
I think the best way to support the theater is come see a show.
Yeah, show up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know, fill those seats and tell your friends. If you,
Sure.
you know.
If you don't like the show, tell your enemies.
Yeah. We have, I mean, okay, so since we're just putting everything out there, we have a development committee, you know, we have a active board, you know, if there's somebody who's just like, I love theater and I want to be involved, those are great ways to support as well as we're continuing to develop. And, you know, we have different galas and things like that throughout the year, you know, that we can always use people to help on that. So, you know, if you're just, if you just want to just show up and we'll find something for you to do, you know, we'll find a place for you.
Be curious, come curious and become creative.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way we roll here at Key City Public Theater.
I love that. And it sounds like you bring a lot of the community together with everything that you do. And I know theater has a way of bringing people together like nothing else. So I think you do that beautifully. And Amanda and Denise, I think I could probably talk with you, and I can't speak for Ginny, but I'm sure we could talk with you for the rest of the afternoon. But our time is drawing near. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your passion with us.
Thanks for inviting us to tell you about it. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. As I started with, we are deeply rooted in the community, and our best and most rewarding experiences are when we bring together as much of the community as possible. People that wouldn't find themselves sitting next to each other find themselves together having a communal experience. That's really what theater is all about. And it's what Port Townsend's all about.
It's still my favorite thing when we are able to, I mean, one, for theater, like those are live people. You know, we spend so much time with screens and, you know, you can't swipe the person off the stage kind of thing. You know, they're human bodies having human experiences. And then you're in the audience and you're laughing together, you know, you're maybe crying together, or you're feeling uncomfortable together. I mean, all of that's being alive. And that's what we're able to do here. And I want to keep being able to do it. And that's, our goal.
I love that. And you can do that in a sequin gown or your blue jeans, whichever one you want. Have a cocktail while you enjoy the theater. So, yeah. Well, thank you again. And be sure and check out our upcoming performances at keycitypublictheater.org and come and see the creativity that makes Port Townsend so special. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.